guys probably wonder, where have these videos been? I have not been providing for the people. A little late, you know? Hey, better late than never. If your boy's not late, your boy's not okay. Your boy's always running late, you know? Except the work sometimes. Okay. Lot of catch up to do. I actually recorded week one's video and somehow it didn't save and I lost all of it. You know, one of those typical things. So I'm gonna kind of briefly recap weeks 1, 2, and 3. Week 3 I'll go over a little bit more because that's kind of like current, and then we'll go over week four's preview and some other things. So welcome back, perfect attendance once again. We'll go over the champions of the Famleegue. So the first ever year, Randy, he was originally known as Turd Ferguson. He took home the crown in 2021. Then 2022. Oh, by the way, Randy beat Molly for the championship. Figured I'd give Molly some credit. You know, it was a very good championship. First year's league, we had 10 teams, and it was like pretty much like the basic ESPN format. I think we had punters that year too, but the championship was 2 weeks long, and I remember Molly, like, I think she only lost by like less than 10 points for the championship, so it was a pretty remarkable championship. And then year 2, Kendra beat her sister Kelsey, and then last year Bryce beat Kelsey. So Kelsey's been the runner up twice, so she's looking to see if she can finally bring home the gold. So I know there's not an actual gold, but there might be something coming in the future. So if we do get something coming, I'll definitely let Bryce have definitely let him have it in possession for a little bit until the next champion is rewarded. So going over the draft, I think we all can agree that Stephon Diggs was picked a little higher than his average draft position. I think that might have been a shock to everyone, but he has actually turned out pretty well for Kelsey. So despite him going in the first round, it's all worked out. She had a plan. It's all worked out so far. So, as you can see in the report cards, looks like Ryan and Trey got A's, which is pretty ironic. A little contraindicating. Ryan is in first place. Trey's in last place. So Trey's been bit by the injury bug a little bit, so that is definitely why he's in last. But pretty crazy how they both got A's and one's at the top, one's at the bottom. You know, it's pretty crazy. I've been to a couple football games this year. We went and saw one of the Steelers preseason games against the Texans. Saw C.J. Stroud throw a touchdown pass to Tank Dell. And then last weekend went to go see West Virginia against Kansas. One of my buddies who was in the league the first year, his dad went to West Virginia, so he had tickets. So he met me up here, and we went. So fun times. Week 1, there's not really too much to talk about. Week 1, crazy matchup though. Week 1 between husband and wife. Stroud with the chance to beat Balls and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was up 124-85 before Monday night. Monday night rolls around. Jake Moody scores 26 points. The kicker, Jake Moody, 26 points on Monday Night Football. Now, she also had San Francisco's defense and Garrett Wilson, and them two and Moody combined for 45 points. 45 points between 3 players on Monday night. Jake Moody was one of the highest scorers in week 1. A kicker. Might be year of the kicker. A lot of kickers have big weeks in week 1. Unfortunately for Jesse, he had someone in week 1 on the Monday night game as well, Greg Zierlein, who's a phenomenal kicker, had a record-setting year for the Rams, I think back in like 2017. He only scores him 1 point. Jesse had a 39-point lead blown. Like his kicker, That's so great. He loses by 5 points. His kicker could have easily got like 6 and he could have won. That is tough luck right there. That is tough luck, man. Um, other than that, I don't think there's really anything crazy. Week one, Allen's versus Predators had the highest score at 149. Um, yeah, I feel there's not really too much to talk about week one. I had it all in my video. I'm gonna try not to make this so long. I'm not gonna go over every single score from the weeks that I've missed, so far. So, let's see. Um, it's really fun to bet on these NFL games. I'm not sure if you guys are into that. North Carolina is a part of it, so I'm gonna be making a parlay every single week, so you guys can ride on it, or you guys can do your own thing. So, in week one, Kelsey and we won a couple sports bets. I'll throw them up here. My Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown one, with Jahmyr Gibbs, Cooper Kupp, and then I needed Gibbs for yards and Kyrie Williams for yards. Luckily, the game went to overtime, and I was 3 yards short at the end of regulation for Jahmyr Gibbs, and he only gets the ball. I think he only got the ball like for one carry because David Montgomery carried the team to the finish line. But when he went over to the sidelines, luckily Jahmyr Gibbs got one carry and got me 3 yards and got me my win. Sweated that one out, man. I didn't think I was going to get it, but luckily, he came through for your boy. So, all right. So we'll flip over to week two. The highest scoring team in week two was Patrick Mahomes, off to a pretty solid start. He scored 155. In week two, he had 4 players that scored 20 or more points. 20 or more. Smoked his competition. He had 58 points after Thursday Night Football. Devon Achane and James Cook just had a field day, and he has both those guys. So yeah, he was up 58 to I think it was either 58 nothing or 58 to some chump change. So second highest scorer was Mike Roballs. Mike Roballs. That pause very important. Finishes 154, 1 point shy of the highest. He's got a pretty solid team. He's got a pretty solid team. Like I said earlier, he's the number 1 ranked team, the only undefeated team in the league. So, Malik Neighbors think I'm selling dope. Yeah, Malik Neighbors, man, he is legit. He's really starting to come into his own. And then week two, his kicker for the Texans, I'm going to butcher his name, Kaimi Fairbairn. He had 20 points. I remember that. He had 20 points in week two. Week three might be a little different story. We'll get to that. Other results, nothing really crazy. Easy Breezy Cover Girl, or just Easy Breezy Beautiful, excuse me, beat, he's got a real purty mouth by 5 points, very close there. Shouted to Chance of Meatballs, beat Love to See It, 110 to 81. Big story there was Alvin Kamara, 44 points. And then King Henry's Court beat Scranton Stranglers 122 to 108. Then I beat our defending champion Hertz Locker 144 to 126. Yeah, what hurt him is he had Evan Ingram starting, but he was a late scratch. Marvin Harrison Jr. got him 3 touchdowns, though. I changed my name to God Let Me Win in honor of Chris Godwin. And, hey, he let me win. Chris Godwin, one of the top receivers in all of fantasy football. So, good for him. Good for me. All right, week 3. We're going to start off with the shootout of the week between God Let Me Win, formerly known as God Let Me Win. Probably should keep that name because I keep winning with it. But now, Put on the little conductor hat. All aboard. Chubba, 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 chubba. Choo, choo. Chubba, chubba, choo, choo. Wins 149 to 138 over King Henry's Court. This is definitely one of the top matchups, one of the top final scores of the week, or it is of the week, probably of the whole year though. This was a shootout, like I said. There was a little bit of some taunting going around, you know. Josh, the taunt feature, it works. It works. He will taunt me. I will taunt him back. He taunt me. I taunt him back. But then there's one point where like he kept taunting me, and I ran out of taunts. Somehow I still won. I don't know how. It was very close. He unfortunately benched his king, the heart and soul of his team. He benched Derrick Henry. He was a little worried about Cowboys' defense against maybe stopping Baltimore's run game. But Derrick Henry, it was a walk in the park for him actually. 30 points on the bench. King Henry's Court. Man, he got dethroned for 1 week, and man, he let him have it. Obviously, if he would have started him, he would have won. Who he started instead, or one of his running backs that started ahead of him, James Conner, only got 3.5 points. That is tough. He had a combined 115 points on the bench. 115 on the bench. That's more than some people even score. That's more points scored than most of the league this week. Man, what a week. It gets hard to figure out who you want to start when you have a pretty stacked team. So, 138's a lot of points. Lamar Jackson had 25. Zach Charbonnet had 25. That was a nice start there. Jamar Chase, he woke up 29 points. Jets defense, 16 points. Drake London, 18 points. Had him last year, a little frustrating, but looks like with Kirk Cousins, he's really coming into his own. As for Chubba Chubba Choo Choo, obviously Chuba Hubbard, 27.9 points. How about them Carolina Panthers? Yes, sir, Tanner Brown. Give me some. How about them Panthers? Whole new team. I will say, I'll give my 2 cents on the Bryce Young situation. They definitely should not have started him with that atrocious coaching staff last year. They should have had him sit the bench, let Dalton go in there, kind of learn from him. A lot of first-year quarterbacks will sit instead of come in and start immediately. I mean, there have been some that come in and start immediately, but you look at Jordan Love. He sat for like 2 or 3 years. Patrick Mahomes, I remember he got drafted. Alex Smith was their starting quarterback. He sat the whole first year. Watch Alex Smith. So I'm just saying they got a better coaching staff now, it appears. They got a better offensive line too. I know he looked shaky those first 2 games. Looks like he didn't really improve any, but I think this will do him well. They're not going to get rid of him. They invested way too much to get that first pick to draft him. So I'm still a believer in Bryce Young. So I really am. Dallas Goedert, 10 catches for 170 yards. That came out of nowhere. That was just pure luck there. Luckily, I put Hubbard in for a second week in a row because Kenneth Walker III was out for a second week in a row. So my boy Chuba Chuba Choo Choo came through for me. Next, we'll go to, like I said, our undefeated team, number 1 ranked team, currently our fearless leader, Mike Roballs. He defeats Easy Breezy Beautiful, 135 to 111. Couple 30-pointers, Josh Allen and Saquon Barkley. I think they're respectively number 1 in their positions. Neighbors, like a good neighbors. He's going to be on State Farm very soon. Yeah, so remember I said his kicker scored 20 points last week. Well, he knocked off the 2 from that and scored 0 this week. along with Rashid Shaheed, 0 points. He had two players score 0 points, and he still throws up 135. It's just unfair. It is just unfair. Everything's just going right for him this year. For Easy Breezy, Rasheed Rice, 29 points. And then Terry McLaurin finally has a solid quarterback. He's been through so many quarterbacks. I'll throw that graphic that was on Monday Night Football. Been through so many quarterbacks in his young career. And hopefully Jaden Daniels stays healthy. And we'll be hearing Daniels to McLaurin all season long for many seasons to come. I want to say Josh is a Washington fan, so I think he would like that. I'm not sure if he is though, so you have to let me know, Josh. Next, we'll go to Hatrick Mahomes against. He's got a real purdy mouth. Real purdy mouth, man. Another tough loss for him. He loses 103.38 to 98.28. Hatrick Mahomes, he was hurt. He was down bad after Monday Night Football in Week 1, but this time the tables have turned for him. James Cook, 18.7 points, rushes him to victory. He was down 98.28 to 84.68. Randy didn't have anyone go for Monday Night Football. He was all relying on James Cook, and he comes through. As for Randy, the real pretty mouth, Jawan Jennings might be the best fantasy. Definitely the best fantasy, like, I don't know if I'd say fluke. I hope it's not a fluke for his case, but Jawan Jennings, 46 points? No one saw that coming. I think if Randy had like literally no one else to start, I think he would have started him. But he's like, all right, I'll pick him up. We'll see how he does. He had some other guys that are more worthy of a start, despite no Debo, no George Kittle. But man, 46 points. Like, dude went nuclear. 46 points, man. Golly. Yeah, if he would have started him, he would have moved right up there with King Henry's court scoring. Man. Purdy and Komet had 25 points each, so it's pretty solid. He did have someone go on Monday night. This is the second week in a row where Washington did not need to use their punter. That is absolutely insane. Jaden Daniels' second game in a row in 3 total games where they have not needed to punt the ball. I think I saw where like Manning and Brady and a couple other greats only had 2 games in their entire career where they didn't have to punt the ball like at all. And Jaden Daniels has already done it twice, 2 games in a row in 3 total games. So obviously Randy dropped him, got a new punter because Washington sounds like they don't really need their punter. But just think, if this punter, I mean, I feel like punters average about 4 or 5 points, maybe 6. But if his punter had like 6 points, he'd have won. But Washington didn't need their punter. Next, we'll go to Love to See It against Catching McCaffrey. And Love to See It, who won?
I think I did.
You thought correctly.
Oh.
She sure did. She wins 101.94 to 97.36.
It was close.
Another close one. Biting her nails all night. Catching McCaffrey had Joe Burrow go Monday night. Love to See It. Who did she have Monday nights?
Stephon Diggs.
Did he play Monday night?
No, he didn't.
I don't think he did. She lets me know when Stephon Diggs does well, which has been most of the season. So, like I said earlier in the show, I was like, Stephon Diggs first round. Pay it off though. She had a plan. She had someone. I think her kicker. Her kicker. Yeah, she has Kick Fearson on the Bengals. So it was Kick Fearson against Joe Burrow. And Kick Fearson just did kick his way to victory for Kelsey. So it was 97-72 before that Monday night game.
I have Buffalo's defense Monday night too.
Oh, I didn't write down here, but honestly, Buffalo's defense and Kick Fearson really kicked her to victory. So She had a little bit of a piss poor week. Baker Mayfield, Tyreek Hill, both her both her starting running backs had under 10 points, but luckily David Montgomery and Stephon Diggs, put the team on their back. As for catching McCaffrey, just like he's got a real pretty mouth, they're still looking for their first win as they start off 0-3. Catching McCaffrey, obviously, he's hurt pretty bad with McCaffrey being hurt. Also, Mark Andrews. Where is Mark Andrews? Where has he been? 0 points. We had a lot of 0 points in the starting spots this week. He did have 96 bench points, so his bench actually almost outscored his starters by 1 point. Crazy. Next, we'll go to our defending champion Hertz Locker against Allens versus Predators. Hertz Locker, put him in the Hertz Locker, wins 127-94. Hertz Locker makes some TikToks every now and then, and I peeped one. It was his team he drafted, and people were just absolutely grilling him in the comments for having Aaron Jones as his RB1. They're like, Aaron Jones is RB1? Oh, his team is cooked. Oh, dude, there's no way you're going to win. Well, Aaron Jones is a top 10 running back so far this year. He puts up 25 points. Vikings are rolling. The Vikings are rolling. Aaron Jones is actually the 9th ranked running back in the league, so in fantasy. So you might need to go back to those comments and be like, yeah, I know you guys wish you drafted Aaron Jones. So he had a pretty solid week. 127, that's a very respectable amount of points there. Olave did well. He woke up. DK Metcalf had a big 70-yard touchdown. He got him 20 points. Marvin Harrison Jr. got him 17 points. He's staying hot. As for Allens versus Predators, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 20 points. Packers defense, 23 points. That's about it. He did start Derek Carr over Dak Prescott, fearing the Ravens defense, which, I might have done the same because Derek Carr has kind of been slinging it. Well, unfortunately, week 3, Derek Carr did not sling it. And guess who did? Dak Prescott. A 20-point difference in their total points there. So it's tough. Wouldn't have been the difference maker, but still tough. Last but not least, we have the Scranton Stranglers versus Stroudy at the chance of meatballs. Scranton Stranglers picks up his first win of the year. He wins 113-83. And he can thank possibly the heart and soul of his team, Kyron Williams, 31 points. Stroudy at the chance of meatballs. Pretty tough week for her. She's been looking really strong, but no one on our team wanted to show up Sunday. Deontay Johnson showed up, but he was on the bench. Didn't think he was going to have a big game like he did. Knew he'd probably be, more effective with Andy Dalton, being a quarterback. I will say, I knew that Andy Dalton would do pretty well because fellow Panthers fans would remember he came in, he started one game last year against the Seahawks. Brother came out slinging. He came out slinging that football. So I figured that against the Raiders, I figured he'd be passing the ball pretty decently. I didn't think he'd look elite like he did. But, I figured that Thielen or Deontay Johnson or maybe Jonathan Mingo or Xavier Leggett, would start to kind of have way better weeks in the first 2 weeks, So, but I wouldn't have expected him to Deontay Johnson score 26 points and have a career day. So, all right. So, I'll throw our standings up there. Like I said, Ryan missed playoffs last year. He's looking to avenge himself. A very comfortable 3-0 start. A couple winless teams are looking to kind of get back in the win column. Hopefully they can this week. We haven't established a punishment for the loser this year. Maybe we can. Or just, keep it G. So like I said, we're doing a parlay for every week. I had one for week 1. I'm usually going to try and make it about 3 or 4 legs long, but week 1 I went a little overboard. I did a 6-leg parlay. I think only 2 of the legs hit, so I'm glad that video didn't post for that. But this week, it's a little favoritism there, but we'll see if it happens. Um, my first leg is Dalton Schultz. He's so due for a touchdown. He's kind of not really done a whole lot the first 3 games, but um, I'm looking for the Texans to sling the ball. They're playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville just got crushed by the Bills. Josh Allen was slinging the ball. James Cook had, some carries for, some touchdowns, but I feel like Allen was like really, really doing well passing the ball. So I think Stroud will do well passing the ball. Also, it looks like Joe Mixon might be out. Their backup is also out. So it's looking like that Cam Akers will be the starter once again. And I still believe in Cam Akers. I know he's had some injury-ridden seasons, but um, I think he's still run the ball efficiently. But he is a running back that does catch some passes too. So I think the Texans will be looking to pass the ball a lot. And I think Dalton Schultz will finally find the end zone. So he's a plus 200 for anytime touchdown. It's not bad. Um, Tank Dell's also out too, so he kind of maybe move up in the targets. Dalton Schultz will. So next we have Chuba Hubbard, 3 receptions. He had many receptions last game against the Raiders, and if you think about it, a team that is a team that you think or has good odds to win, or yeah, that has good odds to win. You think at the end of the game they're gonna be trying to like run the ball, run the ball the second half, like kind of run the clock out. So I think the Bengals. I think it looks like they woke up. From last game, it looks like they woke up. So I think that the Bengals will be leading in the second half. So it's going to force Dalton and the Panthers to throw the ball some. So I think Chuba catching 3 passes, I think that's very likely to happen. So the next one we have his teammate, go a little heavy in the Panthers here. Xavier Leggett, 25 receiving yards. So Thielen is unfortunately IR. Deontay Johnson's questionable. So either Xavier Leggett, Jonathan Mingo, David Moore, Tommy Tremble is a tight end. One of them are going to have to step up. So I think that's also why Chuba will get easily 3 receptions. And Leggett, 25 yards. He can have 1 catch for 25 yards. So I think that's pretty simple. Minus 215. Pretty respectable there. Pretty friendly odds there. Last but not least, Jaden Daniels plus 200 passing yards. That's a minus 182. I think it moved down to a 180. Um, I feel like the Commanders are probably going to be, they're playing the Cardinals. I think that game's going to be an absolute shootout. Should be a fun one. Um, kind of like my theory. Like, if you think a team is going to be like losing the second half, obviously they're going to be passing the ball more, try to catch up. So I think Jaden Daniels, I think that theory will kind of play into Jaden Daniels, and he will be passing the ball more in the second half, and he'll get 200 passing yards. Pretty simple. So those odds total up to a plus 1074, and $10 on that would be $107. So not like a crazy big payout, but if you could add another 0 to the 10 that you put in, it's a nice win. It's a nice win. So we'll go to the week 4 preview. And we're going to start off with our fearless leader, Mike, Roballs. Mike, Roballs. Gonna have that pause. Nah! He's 3-0, and he's going to face the number 3 ranked team, Patrick Mahomes. 3-0 versus 2-1. It's currently 23-15 in favor of Mike Roballs. And the projection is 140 to 124. Next we have Chuba Choo Choo against Aliens versus Predators. Doesn't have Josh Allen anymore. We're looking for a name change. I think he did have a name change in mind, but ESPN wouldn't allow it. So I think it involved his punter at the time. I'm not sure if he still is punter, but kind of put 2 and 2 together with that one. It's currently 27-23 in favor of Jay. I'm projected to win 137 to 116. So we'll see. Next, we have King Henry's Court against Strider with a chance of meatballs. A pair of 2-1 teams. King Henry's court is up 3.5 to 0. He's projected to win 127 to 120. Then we have the 5 versus the 9. 2-1, easy, breezy, beautiful against Hertz Locker. The 2023 champ against the 2022 champ. Breezy started Rico Dowdle, and he got her 13.1 points. She's up 13.1 to 0. She's projected to lose 127 to 126. Pop the popcorn. Gonna be a close one. Very entertaining. Next, we have Love to See It against. He's got a real purty mouth. Looking for his first win of the year. Kelsey's 2-1. It's currently 0-0. Purdy mouth. Might be mouthing off a victory. It's projected 116 to 113. And last but not least, we have our 10 and 12th ranked teams. Scranton Stranglers versus Catching McCaffrey. These two guys love to do some trades. And will we see a trade before kickoff? Maybe. It's both 0-0 right now, but Scranton Stranglers is projected win 121 to 101. So, there we have it. I'll try to be a little bit more consistent like I have been in years past, posting these videos, making them. I'll try not to accidentally delete this one this time. Hopefully it makes it to YouTube. One piece. Peace.